Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are facing some serious criticism for their international travels, with one royal commentator even calling them out for what she sees as hypocrisy. Kinsey Schofield has been particularly vocal about their trip to Colombia earlier this year. Schofield told GB News that the Colombia visit was a surprise to many, especially considering Harry's previous statements about being too afraid to bring Meghan back to the UK. He had given some pretty extreme examples of things he feared might happen to her there. Schofield feels that Harry would actually be very safe in the UK, so their trip to Colombia, a country with its own security challenges, seems a bit contradictory. It's like they're saying one thing and doing another. The Sussexes' trip to Colombia was at the invitation of the country's vice president. But the visit drew a lot of criticism, not just for the cost of the trip itself, but also because it had all the trappings of an official royal tour, even though they aren't working royals anymore. Before Colombia, they made a similar visit to Nigeria, which also raised eyebrows. Schofield also questioned the purpose of these trips, especially from a diplomatic standpoint. She pointed out that these kinds of tours are usually done to build relationships and trade deals for a government. So she's asking, what exactly are Harry and Meghan trying to achieve? It seems like they have different goals in mind. There have been other concerns raised about how the Sussexes handle these international visits. Royal commentator Russell Myers made a good point in a recent German documentary. He said that when you're visiting communities facing serious poverty and social problems, appearances really matter. He criticized Harry and Meghan for showing up in Nigeria and Colombia wearing designer clothes worth tens of thousands of pounds. He argued that it sends completely the wrong message. It can come across as insensitive and out of touch with the realities of the people they are visiting. It's like they're not really understanding the situation on the ground. It's also worth noting that Harry and Meghan have been working on separate projects recently. A source told Hello magazine that they are both pursuing their own individual interests, but they're still committed to their joint work with the Archewell Foundation. However, some see this as further evidence that they're drifting apart, focusing more on their individual brands than on a shared vision. This whole situation raises some valid questions about Harry and Meghan's approach. Are they trying to have it both ways? Do they want the privileges and attention of being associated with royalty without any of the responsibilities? Their actions seem to lack self-awareness. They complain about media intrusion and then embark on high-profile international trips that are bound to attract attention. They talk about wanting a private life, but then engage in activities that keep them firmly in the public eye. The criticism about their expensive clothing during visits to underprivileged communities is particularly damaging. It suggests a lack of empathy and understanding. It makes them appear more concerned with their own image than with genuinely connecting with the people they are visiting. Furthermore, these quasi-royal tours create confusion. Are they representing the British monarchy, or are they acting as independent figures? This ambiguity undermines the work of actual working royals, who are carrying out official duties on behalf of the crown. It also allows Harry and Meghan to benefit from their royal titles without adhering to the expected protocols and responsibilities. Some might argue that they are exploiting their royal connections for personal gain, which is a serious accusation. While their work with Archewell might have good intentions, the way they conduct these international visits casts a shadow over their efforts. It begs the question, are they truly dedicated to making a difference? Or are these trips just another way to build their brand and maintain their celebrity status? The criticism they are receiving is a consequence of their own actions. If they want to be taken seriously as global philanthropists, they need to be more mindful of their image and ensure their actions align with their words.